Hello, Internet. Once again, back outside while it's still relatively warm enough to do this. Wearing a jacket today. It's a little bit colder weather. And, yeah, I've been sick, so I feel a little colder than I actually should be. But, anyway. This week's random thought, the HEXACO test. I spoke recently about the Myers-Briggs test, and this is really turning into like a self-awareness kind of receiries. Okay, I mean that's where my random thoughts are taking me. So okay, so I recently spoke about how the Myers-Briggs, like the two main things about the Myers-Briggs that you need to know will get you like about 20% of the way to understanding who you are. The HEXACO is also pretty good at this. I wouldn't exactly call it a personality test, and I've actually done a video on the HEXACO before on School Doesn't Teach. Check that out. Where I talk about it's more like a character test than a personality test. It's basically an inventory of certain like behaviors. And I'm not going to like go into like exhaustive detail right here, right now. But I will go down like the major points, and hopefully I'm not like horribly backlit. I mean, the sun is back there, but the sky is over there. It's like I have two light sources, and both will have me horribly backlit, and I'll look like a silhouette, shadow person. But yeah, the 6 main points of the HEXACO. And before I go into any of that, I'm trying to keep an eye on the ground because there's sticks everywhere. And, if I fall on my face on a YouTube video, that'll be hilarious. So I'm trying to set that up. But, the 6 main points. And keep in mind that the 6 main... high score isn't necessarily good, and low score isn't necessarily bad. And I'll give you, like, some examples about that. The first main point, I think they're called factors. Honesty and humility. I'm, like, near max score in honesty and humility. Not to brag. Let me move a little bit, because I am horribly backlit on that one. Putting the trees over there. I mean, that's actually typical of an INTJ, because we just, like, value truth above all else. I was like scouring some internet forum a few days ago, and I can't even remember what the conversation was about, but it's like, do you value the truth? And it's like, I'm like, what else is there? But yeah, here's the thing. A high score in honesty and humility is not necessarily good. Because, I mean, a lot of times I'm so honest, it hurts other people's feelings. And granted that that's more than like how I'm honest than the actual honesty. But one of the sub-facets of honesty and humility is greed avoidance. I'm like near max score on that. Or actual max score. There's one that I'm not actually maxed out on, but I forget which one it is. And I don't have my notes here to cheat, so I'm doing this by memory. But yeah, greed avoidance. I value money so little that I don't have a good job. I don't have a lot of money. And oftentimes that's a little difficult. So, not necessarily a good thing to be almost completely maxed out. They're all like double-edged swords. There are good factors to being a high scorer, but they're also bad factors. There may be good factors to being a low scorer. Keep that in mind. So that's honesty and humility. The E, that's emotionality. Well, like most INTJs, I am not very emotional. And again, this you might think that's a good thing, but I mean, yes, on the one side, I'm not very affected by other people's emotions. I don't get very emotional about anything. I'm not very attached to material things. But this can be a bad thing because oftentimes my communication is a little harsh. Or at least other people think so. Again, none of these are good or bad. They're good things to being a higher or low score, but they're also bad things. This is really more like, I see the value of the HEXACO being more as, what are the good things about your particular score? What are the bad things? Because the bad things, maybe you should try to improve those. I should try to improve my communication style to be a little softer and more understanding of people and their emotions, things like that. Moving right along, the X is for extraversion, and like a typical introvert, I'm not very extroverted. And really, the HEXACO classifies extraversion differently than Myers-Briggs. Myers-Briggs, it's about energy flow. Extroverts gain energy from social interaction. Introverts lose energy during social interaction. But in HEXACO, it's more about you like how assertive you are in the room and how much you enjoy social interaction. And well, I'm very split. I don't have a lot of social boldness because I do know to rein myself in, but I do have a lot of social self-esteem because, why not? What can people say that will hurt me, right? But most of the time, I do not seek out social interaction. And that's more of a you communicate when it's valuable kind of thing. The Stoics have a saying, speak only when it's necessary. When speech leads to action or is necessary for action. Necessity, that sort of thing. I've kind of followed that my entire life without even realizing it. So I think that's part of why I score low on the extraversion in HEXACO, is that I don't seek out social interaction because I know that most people, they want to socialize to have an experience, to feel an emotion, to convey an emotion, or just have fun. Frivolous things. Got some poisonous mushrooms down there. I know they're not going to hurt me if I step on them. It's not Mario. But still, if I get the residue on my shoes, my cats could lick it and then they could die. That would not be good. See, the A. The A is for agreeableness. Oddly enough, I actually score fairly above median in agreeableness, which was surprising to me. I usually don't see myself as being very agreeable, but apparently the facets that they use to classify agreeableness, like gentleness. I'm not very gentle. I didn't score very high on that. That's probably something I should work on. But forgiveness, flexibility. I'm usually fairly adaptable. Not always. If I have a schedule set in stone, it's set in stone. That's also probably something I should work on. Notice I'm pointing out a lot of things that I should be working on. It's to help draw your attention to things maybe you should be working on as well. Let's see. C. C is next. Conscientiousness. Another one where I'm fairly above average. See, what are the subfacets? Let's see, diligence. I max score in diligence. That's like you paying attention to all the details and getting the job done. Patience patience actually surprised me. I usually don't consider myself to be a patient person, but apparently according to HEXACO I am. Or at least, although actually I'm less patient than the average. Oh, not patience, perfectionism. No. Yes. See, this is the trouble with doing this by memory. I forget what my scores actually are. I scored below average on patience, but it's still a fairly high average, I think. No, I scored below average on perfectionism, but it's like right in the middle, I think. Anyway, there are subfacets, and there are numbers, and you're either below average or above average. It can either be good or bad. And again, high is not necessarily good, and low is not necessarily bad. Although perfectionism, I would say, it is possible to be too perfectionistic, but it's also possible to be too sloppy. And it's close enough, right? So the O. This is the biggie, the one where I have a little bit of a gripe as to how the test is done. The O stands for openness to experience, and it's about aesthetic appreciation, unconventionality, curiosity. I score very high in curiosity. Typical INTJ. For me, it's the aesthetic appreciation. It's all of the questions are about setting aside time to just like go ooh and ah at works of art, and just like sit down and listen to music and dedicate all your attention to music. It's like I could be doing so much more with my time. Maybe I actually do deserve the low score in aesthetic appreciation because of that. But I mean, if you look at my video thumbnails and my color grading, I think you can see that I actually do have some aesthetic appreciation. It's just like I want it to be practical. I want to be something. I don't want to have to like set aside time to do it. It's like I see it as something you do along the way, And again, we have some sirens in the background, messing up the video. Thank you very much. Somebody could be dying, so you should be a little more concerned. So that's, HEXACO. I'm going to wait for them to pass before I continue. I don't want to have to talk over them. Anyway, go find the test. I should have a link in the description. I might forget. It's nice and shady over here. I don't know why I was walking up and down the edge of the field when I could just record right here. It's nice and shady. Let me remove some of the backlighting a little bit. Take the test. And again, a high score is not necessarily bad or good. Like a low score is not necessarily good or bad. I think I accidentally flipped those, but anyway. Just read the descriptions of what the subfacets are supposed to measure. And just ask yourself, do I do too much of this? Is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Maybe most of the people in the world spend too much time indulging in aesthetic appreciation. I got a little J.J. Abrams right there. A light flare. Yeah. I didn't have to do special effects for that. It just happened naturally. Anyway, see, there was some aesthetic appreciation right there. I need to move because I'm like getting a halo around me. That I don't want to appear that angelic. Anyway, use it as an assessment of your own behavioral patterns. Do I spend too much time doing this? Am I too emotional? Am I too dependent upon other people? Or maybe I'm too independent. That might be one of my flaws. I score like the minimum score in dependence. I have a tendency to want to do everything myself, which is probably why nobody else appears in these videos. Why it appears like I'm completely alone and isolated in the universe. Try not to shake the camera. But this one hand has been holding the selfie stick for I don't know how many 14 minutes. Yeah, my hand's a little stiff right now. So I should probably end the video right about here. But take the test and just like use it as an assessment of yourself. What kind of behaviors do you need to change? What behaviors are actually good? What behaviors are helping you win and get closer to your goals? You should probably do more of those and less of the ones that are holding you back. But anyway, ending the video now because I wanted to keep this to 5 minutes, but yeah, that didn't happen. So yeah, and I guess until next week.